Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the breakfast show. Now, in this trading idea with SMARTRobie, I hope I find you good and well after a very long weekend, and we have the Agong's birthday in here, so there wasn't any breakfast show on Monday, but we will continue today on our Wednesday, which is the 9th of June. That's right. Now, there's a lot of headline news that we need to cover up. Definitely, I want to keep you posted on those news today in our breakfast show. Of course, we will also be reviewing some of the trade idea that we did last Wednesday on the trending stocks in here, and yet the KLCI has turned positive and is still holding up above the 1590 in here, still having that resistance to break above the 1660. So I do hope this breakfast show find you good and well, and let's get started. And feel great to share this video in your timeline, especially those of you who has been already top fans. We really appreciate it for all the effort that you have done, and there are a few more promotion going forward. Let's take a look at what we have for you in our breakfast show in here. That's right. Now this morning, it's Wednesday, so we'll be looking at the intermediate level in here. As usual, we'll be looking at the trending stocks, also looking at the hot sectors, which is generally the new sentiment to where we want to see what's really hot today. All right, that's right. Now let's look at before that, of course, we did have a few more submission coming in for our best stock trade idea for our SMARTRobie and our iPad giveaway. It's just that we haven't have the best stock trade idea, and this iPad is just waiting to be in your hands, and also our 50 ringgit voucher. Why not submit one? What do you have to lose? And you get a Grab voucher in here, and of course some of those best trade idea will definitely get a chance to win a beautiful iPad. We are ready and willing to give away here. But let's take a look at this morning in our morning news headline roundup in here. For start, the first one is definitely from EPF, our so-called retirement that you and me, all of us have, and definitely the highest income level we have seen so far, with a 58% jump, and that is been very good for many, you and me, especially those of us relying on income for our retirement in here. But the news falls about that it's interesting to see that 74% of the income actually is from equity, and that's giving about a $14.3 billion in there and totaling up to 19.29. So that's does seem to be a very good year for the EPF, and let's hope by the time they do announce the EPF next year, that's right, we will have a higher EPF than we should year in year out. Of course, EPF do guarantee a minimum base level of 2.5% in here. Thank you for those of you who just joined us in here. Be ready to submit your trade idea, and we will review at the background. But meanwhile, do enjoy some of the news that we have in store for you. Now next is the Top Glove. The rubber glove continue to break lower and lower. Not only Top Glove, we've seen Hata, Kosan, and that's also driving down the KLCI a bit, since they are one of the 10% of the KLCI in here. We did expect with the higher MCO lockdown and the higher cases that we have, the Top Glove did go higher. But guess what? The retailer as well as the institution have another outcome for the rubber glove maker. Now the news falls about the what we call the flat earnings growth, which is what I've been talking about also last year. Talking about this sequence is that likelihood to be Q2 in 2021, which we did 21, where we'll see a flat earning, but we didn't expect that actually the fell off from the main high was around September last year. So you can see news really pricing very early. So what you hear right now is definitely old news. But having said that, for the valuation that we've seen so far from Top Glove seems to be still attractive. You can see dividend yield for 2021 is 16% dividend yield and a 4.2. So that gives it an undervalued play stock. And there is a buy recommendation in this case from the analyst for a positive outlook of Top Glove at 829, which is around 478. Let's take a look at Top Glove today. Having said that, switching to a wider chart here, and you can see Top Glove has since broken down and doesn't really agree what we've seen in the fundamentals, which what we saw just now. So you can see here, just short of 23rd of May on the right hand side here, the market started to break down, and it does also break down the 4 ringgit 80 cent, which is the ATR stop loss. So things doesn't looking well for the Top Glove, and yet the dividend continue to be good. And usually that's always the case, is that do the fundamental agreed with what you see on the technicals. And usually if you are what we call both a fundamental investor plus a VSA trader, you want to combine them and do a trade that will give you pretty much on the good side. But if you are just pure fundamentals, then you need to look for some sort of base and start to buy, and you need to hang on. Of course, they do pay dividend, as I said in this article, does give you a very decent 16% dividend for this year, and also 4% dividend. So right now there is a potential upside of 42%, giving it a 8 ringgit. What do you think? Do you think we will see it, Top Glove go higher, or Top Glove pretty much at this base level here? All right, let's move on to our next news. So our next news is the Power Roots, another player in the food and beverages in here. They are based in Johor, but since many months ago, this news talks about Power Roots with the top line product, which is the coffee. Ali Cafe continue to do well in the Middle East. So again, let's take a look at the Power Roots PW. And you can see Power Roots again also hitting the downtrend. If you can see here, just pushing it up, and you can see ever since breaking that 18th of April, definitely you can see the yellow pentagon, or the yellow trend zone and the red pentagon does keep you into place, and you could have avoided the big sell down here. But right now on the left hand side result, you're seeing climatic volume, so we are likely to see the base level, which is the support level in here around the 137 in here. So this news talks about the target price from the analysts around lower to 145, which is right now 135, which is almost there. You know, it's fairly value price. But let's look at the fundamentals of this stock and see what it is. Is it the same as what we've seen in Top Glove? Right, right now there is no ratings. Partly is because the PE seems to be much higher than the ROE, but it does have a 7% dividend, so this does give it a dividend play in here. Not that much well values in here. And if you do interested to look at to this stock here, Top Glove, you should wait until the green pentagon to come in before making any decision. All right, so let's move on to our next news, which is the big mega projects. Again, with the so-called unseen right now with the parliament and the political situation, a lot of the mega projects should continue moving as part of the what we call recovery cycle. Hasn't taken out yet. You can see HSS engineering in hard, and there are talks about winning some of the projects in here, and the analysts, in this case CIMB, are talking about MRT3 and the Penang South Island project in here, and a couple of port projects, giving it decent earnings in here. Let's take a look at HSSB. So you can type HSS and explore these stocks and see on the stock chart. All right, what is the likelihood? You can see the market did hit up, but immediately any new high of 63% was a sell down back to the support level. Right now it is still you can see here yellow trend zone. So the market is pretty much in a sideways market, doesn't have much of a catalyst, again because of the lockdown and also the emergency declaration that we have. So maybe this should be clearer when the parliament resume again and talk about all the project in here. Right now the research house has a coverage on HSS with the target price, you can see up there, of 89 cents in here, pegged at 27 times. So let's take a look at the stock price this morning here. Is there upside? Yes, there is a 1.7% up there in here. And what about dividend? Okay, let's take a look at the stock fundamentals in here. And you can see the PE is of 29 times. The ROE is only 4 So that's not really healthy. We should get a double-digit ROE, but going forward, many of these kind of stocks are struggling to have a very good return on equity. All right, let's move on to our next story. All right, so our next story will be on Hibiscus. Now, do take note, the oil and gas last night has hit $70 on the US WTI in here, so there is likelihood a recovery in many of the oil and gas energy in here. Of course, we will talk about it on the US sector when we get down to that. But right now on this news is talking about the acquisition of Repsol by Hibiscus should boost their earnings in here. But all in all, what is just said is to increase their oil production, okay, 20 barrels per day by 2020, which is relatively small if you consider the bigger markets in here. Let's take a look at Hibiscus this morning. Okay, and looking at the stock price. Okay, let's look at the stock price, whether that will boost up. Not moving much, just around 0.7% here this morning. And looking at the stock price and stock chart, and let's take a look at this one here. You can see the news of the Repsol has caused the stocks to react and actually jump up, following by a green pentagon in here. So again, is this a good takeout? But do take note, previously they were suspended because pending announcement. That's why you see the little tick tick tick, the little horizontal line in here with no trading, and that's reacting to this kind of news. Going forward, they are better in terms of chart setup. For the oil and gas, just go over to hot sector and check those out, some of those oil and gas sector in here. All right, so this is what we have on the oil and sector. Okay, let's move on to our next news, which is moving on to the US market. Now, the US market were flat last night at the verge of almost breaking higher. You can take a look at it this morning here, looking US S&P 500. Now, this is not updated, should be updated around 4 p.m. So you can come back and check it out at 4 p.m. So if you look at this, right, and let me just bring it up again to the S&P 500. Okay, let me just hit this again. Oh yes, I think. Okay, hit this one. Okay, let me try this again one more time. Okay, the S&P 500 in here. Switching to a wider chart here. Okay, so the news talk about the S&P 500 did stall because of the Biden infrastructure with the GOP. Last night, we didn't see any of those failure to break up higher S&P 500 in here. Okay. Okay, I need to come back here. Looks like my my thing is hang. I need to come back into SMARTRobie again. All right, so last night we have the S&P infrastructure really stall, and the S&P 500 could not break higher than what it is. So you can see that is the reason why S&P 500 could not go higher. But what we want to do, if should the infrastructure do continue, which I don't see yet because of the GOP coming in to delay many of this, not agreeing to the amount Joe Biden was looking at. So we will have to wait. All right, as I said before, there you go. So this is the S&P 500. You can see here. So just short of breaking up the old high, on the right hand side, 4250 in here. You can see really edging up. Nice uptrend in here. Things that we usually talk about in our master class, but definitely you have a red pentagon in here, but the market did not break lower. That is a good, because this is due to profit taking. They do see possible the infrastructure will not take out, but like it or not, the chart has priced in significant upside from here. So on this point here, we will move on to our next talk in here is the oil and gas. You can see here, switching to a wider chart here, you can see the oil and gas has passed through $70, and some of the stocks will see gain. Also, eventually this, I believe, will spill over to the oil and gas player. But right now, seems to be doing much better. And let's take a look at hot sectors right now. You can see hot sector real, but item number 4 is the energy sector. So technology continue to do well, but this is the one where we want to see an early pickup from the oil and gas, and definitely you can hit on to the energy stocks. Right, you can see one of the stocks I really like it. A setup is Chevron. Okay, and you can see CVX hit that one, And let's take a look at the stock chart and stock fundamentals. So you can see a CVX started to pick up already in here. Now last week, one of the trades I did bought was APA, Apache oil and gas player in here. It's already in the money. And let's see tonight whether this will take up or not. So definitely you can see oil and gas started to move up. There are a nice couple of stocks here. This is about $300, but Apache, it's much lower. You can see here early on. Yeah, that's right. Number 8, item number 8 is Apache Corporation, which is believe it's a little bit less. Let's take a look at that one. And let's take a look at the stock chart here, APA. And you can see here is the chart in here taking out higher, and there's an upthrust. The question is where this after we actually bought it last Wednesday when we did this. Okay, so definitely tonight we will look at this again in our live trading. So make sure you join me tonight at 9:30 for our live US trading, and what are the things we can do to prepare for it. The upthrust need to be taken out. If once it's taken out, like the oil and gas, we go see this thing moving up nicely. So right now take a look at CVX, which is one of the stocks, hasn't broke up yet, or APA, which we bought last Wednesday in here. All right, so that is the section we want to cover from the US market. And let's push back to the leaderboard for our intermediate trade idea. Definitely these are the past winners that we have: MYAG 38%, LC Titan, Hector, and TSH, which is as recent back in March. And of course, last week trade idea that we have was CIMB and FKLI, Formosa Prosonic, which is a Taiwanese-based company. Let's take a look at the charts that we have for these two stocks. Let's take a look at CIMB, being a bank, and we all know the banks are doing very well. Now last week on the 19th, on the 2nd of June, this is the time where we pick up. The market did pull back and it did break back up. Nice one in here. Now do take note, banks doesn't move up like in 5%, 10%. This is a very nice trend up here. Now if you compare to some other banking stocks, really hasn't moved yet, but about to move. Let's hope Public Bank. Yes, Public Bank is having this resistance to break up above the 4 ringgit 425 level in here, and but the trends still looking very good. And how about Maybank? Okay, Maybank, the banking stocks, yep, Maybank is also moving up. It's just that the CIMB Bank and I do believe RHB Bank are taking lead from here. So check out on this one. Now next in our last week, the Formosa FPI, Formosa Prosonic Industry, they make speakers in here, and you could see at that point the market retracted back here, and it's dropped about 2%, holding up this next level. I think low volume in here. Also do take note there is an old high, and usually when you see old high in here, market likely to congest bit. So that's actually a good resistance in here, but if the market can hold on low volume, this will break out soon. All right, just take note of this one in here for our Prosonic in here. All right, now let's take a look at what we have for you this week for our new trade idea. Definitely it is going to be two stocks. One of them is AirAsia. Like it or not, some people say, hey, why are you picking AirAsia being so bad in here? But the trend of the stocks is very good, and also PrLexus. Let's take a look at AirAsia. Now AirAsia, us being very technically inclined, as I said before, a trending stock, AirAsia has continue to recover, breaking new high in here. Now do take note, we want to let go in, or at least try to take a position in here in a trending stock before all good news coming out in here. Right now we can see earnings is already been announced. Really bad news, markets holding up, markets going higher. So maybe there is something cooking we do not know, and that's the whole precise of why we do technical trading using VSA. Someone may know something. All right, so this is definitely why we have chosen AirAsia. Of course, next week we will come back and look at it. And the other one is PrLexus. All right, this is from our trending stock, PrLexus, PrLexus. All right, PrLexus. You can see this was of course from the green pentagon. If you had gone in, you will probably be how many percent? And the same goes for, okay, already be almost 9% from the green pentagon. Okay, so this one in here, we are selecting it for our trending stock as the market technical. No doubt it is showing upthrust in here, but we still have to wait for the end. But do take note, there is an old high here at 120, and in the case of CIMB, most of the time the thing will sort of stuck there. But depending how you are able to read the chart, you may want to take a bit of profit there, or you may want to let it run. Look at the price and volume and the interaction at the resistance level in here. So those are the two stocks that we have for you in here. And let's move on to our next section, which is the KLCI news. Now, if you look at the KLCI news, moving back, KLCI news here, and let's look at what are the news. So the news that we have this morning is definitely P Chemical. P Chemical is Petronas Chemical in here, gas sale. Okay, let's look at P Chemical, right? Whether that could be a trade idea for us. Okay, P Chemical, no breakout yet. Again, still green pentagon in here. So we just have to wait. Okay, we just have to wait. And IJM, okay, IJM Corporation. Yes, IJM has a breakout here. This is why, very positive trading IJM and Plantation. I think IJM, there was a news about Plantation, and this market broke out a 6% move. But again, a lot of NS, that is a very powerful winning rates. We always talk about the NS in many of our weekend workshop. Make sure you join us again. So that is how we discover stocks through our news insight here, and definitely Genting here. A wider forecast. News are generally neutral. Let's take a look at Genting. Now remember, Genting, they tend to follow with AirAsia being what we call the economic recovery. You can see Genting in here continue to move higher. And again, if the AirAsia goes up, Genting will also go up. They go in hand. Maybe this is due to tourists coming in here, but I don't think tourists is coming up because the border is still closed. But this is more likely the local tourists coming in. But a lot of bad news has already been priced in Genting, and we are likely to see this market holding up this level in here. So this is how we are able to discover a new trade idea through news discovery in here. All right, let's move on to what we have for you. Is our continued update of our SMARTRobie portfolio in here. We are holding up 12.12% in here with a win rate of 67, and our latest two trade, DNEX and SEMCAM, which we did update in our weekend workshop, compared to the KLCI, which is a almost minus 3% in here. We are doing much better in here. So we are still up so far for the month of January to May. I think this will also be updated to June. Let's take a look at the last two stocks that we in during the green pentagon. Was DNEX. This is where we gone in, and the market has pushed up so very nicely. Let's see how many percent are we in here. All right, we enter on the opening here. So we are about let's say about 7% in, 8% in the money. Not too bad. All right, and then the next one is SEMCAM, which also we gone in after the market green pentagon in here. No doubt the market did break up at the 3%, but this morning until right now we see this pullback in here. And again, we have the old resistance at 199, very similar to CIMB, very similar to many of the other resistance that we see. Will this be sort of a part where we see pullback happening in here? But again, we follow the fixed rules. Those of you who are very familiar, those are two trades. And will this increase our lead that we have 12.12% so far right now in here, perhaps still beating the KLCI? And we are showing it real time, lifetime with the regular update that we have. All right, so this is those two trades that we have, and we are quite happy with this result so far. Of course, the hot sectors on the KLCI here, just like I've shown you right now, you can take a look at it. The energy sectors are not in yet, but the finance, just on top here, technology and finance seems to be in the crowd. Of course, those of you who have time can really look for some trade ideas in the hot sector, so you want to make sure you align with the market. All right, so let's move on to the conceptual map that we usually have. And every time you want to see line change, we want it to take off, like what we saw for DNEX. You can see one bar, and these are the things that we want to constantly train our visual to see this. If it doesn't take off, then what is likely to happen? A pullback after the line change in here. And what should we do? And we need to pay attention to those price and volume here, something that we again teach in our master class. All right, okay, let's move on to our next story here. All right, so our next story is going to be on our of course our trade VSA tutorial, and those of you who are first time here, do make ensure that you follow our tutorial here and be aware of all the sign of strength and all the sign of weakness, and those are in our SMARTRobie chart in here. And of course, this weekend is our big weekend that we have, so myself, my coaches will be busy with our masterclass for our 3-day, which span on over on next Wednesday too. So next Wednesday, we won't be doing any of a live EP. Tonight will be our last one, and we are doing preparation for the US market, so make sure you join me tonight at 9:30 in here. All right, so if you have registered, I'll see you this weekend. And this is our talk tonight, the focus on the US market S&P 500, as we'll be using SMARTRobie that you see in here for many of our pre-planning in here. So make sure you join me tonight. We'll talk about that and also give you an update on our KLCI market in here. And of course, right now we are in our session here to look at some of the stocks that you may want me to take a look. And of course, if we have done a very good job in delivering the service and the product to you, do go over to Google Play Store and Apple Play Store to give us a review in our apps, and we'll be happy for that one. All right, so far, let me see. Okay, we got KGB, XPeng. Okay, XPeng is the US stocks. All right, XPeng. Let's take a look at XPeng is the US stock. Okay, this is a nice one if you have it. This is actually benefiting from the number of car sales. Just run your profit. It's not that difficult. Okay. Now the question always going to ask is that, do you want to take profit or not? Wait until the red pentagon in here. Of course, if you have this, get hold of the trade VSA plugin that you see inside here, so you'll be updated more on this purpose. Right now, you're going to hit the resistance there, so you might see the market really pull back. Okay, XPeng is the EV play, which is electric vehicle play on that one. Okay, next one, we move to Malaysia, KGB, which is Kellington here. And Kellington, green pentagon, not bad. Okay, immediately market holding back sideways in here, so it's not really, it doesn't follow what the pullback that we saw just now. Remember the conceptual map, you have 1, 2, 3 bar going up, but in this case the market pullback and it has nice low volume in here. This is still looks good. Just hold on to it in here. All right, market is red this morning in here, and market, let me just take a look where it is this morning. Let's take a look at where the market is. Going back to the KLCI market. Okay, this morning the market is down 5 points. That's right. Now remember, the resistance level is still so high at 1600 level, but it does have a support at 1560. So the market's going to go up and go down in here. We have the healthcare sell-off this morning. Press metal is down 2% in here. I think the metals are going through some sort of profiting. Hata is still down. The top glove are still down. So those are the pressure points that we are seeing right now. Okay, so okay, let's take a look at Great Tech. Okay, Great Tech, green pentagon, but apparently this morning was a big sell down in here. Red pentagon in here. ATR stop loss is here, 511. The question is, again, going back to whether you want to follow or don't want to follow the trading plan. A lot of the time, we do see, let's take a look at the Inari, whether we see a major sell-off this morning here. Not for Inari. Let's take a look at Penta. Penta has been going through a lot of heavy selling. Penta is holding up, okay. So only Great Tech, and Great Tech, you have to put JF Tech. Okay, JF Tech is holding up also. So only Great Tech is doing that in here, okay. So there is a question here asking about Ucrest. Okay, Ucrest, Amir is asking, is the 355 level in here a good support? I think so, 355 level in here, but usually when the market go this down, that's not good, you know. You got your ATR stall at 28 cents in here. That will be the big support. But right now you want to see is little low volume accumulation holding up at that level. If it does, then that is a chance for this market to move sideways first before you go higher. Okay, EWINT, Irvin. Okay, that's Echo World. Okay, Echo World is doing very well in here. There is a takeoff, like what we say, the conceptual map. This one is more of an exception takeoff in here. You can see 3 lines up now. That's great. So okay, so the question is, do you want to follow or don't want to follow button? So if you are in, great, you get in on the opening of the what we call the market, which is around 58 cents in here. So that's a good one here. Tasco should be fine because of the regional. Okay, green Pentagon, and going up higher. This is a good one too, nicely done. Little minor pullback, which is fine. And let me just move over to the other side. Grand Flow. Now remember, Grand Flow is one of the stocks that we picked much earlier. Yep, continue to Friday pick. Yeah, this is a fine one. Again, use the trading plan, right, that you have on SMARTRobie if you want to enter Grand Flow. Follow those that you have, and you are more likely to have a chance to succeed there. All right, so that's for Grand Flow. Okay, D next is going to hit a resistance soon. Okay, let's look at D next. All right, maybe not yet. You have a resistance here around the 89 cents. Okay, that's the 89 cents that he has to take. But yesterday move was a good one of 4%, and this is still a lot of news not priced in yet, which is the Foxconn news. The more you don't hear a lot of news, the better it is, because the market usually move up, and when the news are there, then it's profit taking. All right, that's always try to remember that. All right, guys, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's take a look at the other stocks that we have. Okay, if we, I think that's all the stocks that I have on you guys. All right. Okay, so let's move on to the next session here. So don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube. If you have not been a member of our YouTube, do subscribe to it, so you will be updated in a lot of our talks and our topics, which of many interest to you and the sectors. All right, and don't forget to submit your best stock trade idea and stand a chance to win our iPad giveaway. And for those of you who are first time, do join our Telegram and do share with your friends, so you'll get regular stock trade idea and many important news that will put you ahead of a lot and to be in trend with the market. So with that, I'll see you tonight at 9:30 for our live FB, how to prepare for the pre-US market opening on the S&P 500. So I'll see you tonight, and we have a chance to take a look at SMARTRobie too, the US market. Okay, bye bye. See you.